Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. All praises are for Allah alone. May His choicest blessings be upon our Master Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The hidden price of staying the same woman. We're halfway through 2026. Muharram 1448 is here. And before we talk about goals, before we talk about money, before we talk about business, I want to ask you a different question. How different is your life today from January? Not your intentions, not your plans, not your hopes or your dreams, but your actual life. I'm talking about evidence, income, confidence, conversations, like the actual results. Because many women are hoping for change while protecting the identity that guarantees the same outcome. I'm going to say that again. Many women are hoping that change will come. Something will be better, money will be better, conversations will be better, relationships will be awesome, but they protect fiercely that identity that is the old identity. And that's what this conversation is about. The hidden price of staying the same woman. Not because you're broken, not because you're lazy, and not because you're failing, but because intelligent women can spend years protecting identities that are no longer serving them, that are hurting them, that are abusing them. That identity that you're protecting is hurting you. And the cost is far higher than most realize. Because most women think they have a confidence problem, or maybe a money problem, or an opportunity problem, or maybe even a support problem or an information problem. But usually they don't. They actually have an identity problem. Because human beings will sacrifice opportunities to remain consistent with that identity. I'll repeat that. Human beings will sacrifice opportunities to remain consistent with that identity. And what identity am I talking about? The helper, the caregiver. Hey, she's the responsible one. She's the selfless one. She's the strong one. The woman everyone depends on. These identities are not bad. But every identity comes with a price. And eventually, what once served you becomes what limits you. A woman says she wants more income. Maybe. Or maybe she wants to remain the woman who never asked for what she's worth. A woman says she wants more opportunities. Maybe. Or maybe she wants to remain the woman who avoids rejection. The question is not, what do I want? The question is, what identity am I protecting? This question may be the most important question of this entire presentation. Who benefits when you stay exactly where you are? Who benefits when you stay exactly who you are? Not who loves you, not who supports you, who benefits. Sometimes it's family, Sometimes it's employers, sometimes it's communities, sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's just the familiarity, what I know, and sometimes it's comfort. Because every behavior survives for a reason. Psychologists call it secondary gain, meaning, what reward am I receiving from staying the same? Maybe staying small protects you from criticism. Maybe staying invisible protects you from responsibility. Maybe staying overwhelmed protects you from accountability. Maybe staying needed protects you from loneliness. It's a hard question. What is staying the same paying you? Because if it wasn't paying you something, you would have stopped years ago. See, avoidance is wearing a hijab. It's a covering. Not your hijab, but the avoidance. Avoidance is very clever. Avoidance rarely introduces itself as avoidance. It arrives wearing disguises. Avoidance dressed as wisdom. Avoidance dressed as caution. Avoidance dressed as responsibility. Avoidance dressed as research, asking 2,000 questions. Avoidance dressed as I'm still thinking about it. I'm waiting for clarity, right? I'm making istikhara. I'm gathering information. And sometimes that's true, but sometimes the answer has been obvious for years. The problem isn't clarity, the problem is decision. Many women are not waiting for clarity, they're waiting for certainty. And certainty rarely arrives first. Let's talk about the price. Not emotionally, but the mathematical. If your communication never improves, what opportunities disappear? If your confidence is in difficult conversations never improve, what opportunities disappear? If your income stays exactly where it is for the next 5 years, what does that cost? And if you never learn how to negotiate, what does that cost? If you never learn how to communicate your value, what does that cost? The cost is not just financial, even though financial is huge, it's also relational, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's legacy. Why do I say that? What sadaqah never gets given? What impact never gets created? What family member never gets helped? What doors never open? The hidden price is not where you are. The hidden price is what never happens. We can look at Hajar alayhi salam, we can look at Musa alayhi salam, and how they created movement first. Look carefully at Hajar alayhi salam. Most people focus on Zamzam, the miracle, the provision, the water. But Allah could have brought Zamzam immediately, but He didn't. Movement comes first. Safa, Marwa, action, trust, movement. She did all of that without evidence. She did all of that movement. And once she started moving, taking action, then provision arrived. And look at Musa alayhi salam. Sea in the front, Fir'aun and his army behind, no visible path, no visible solution. And then Allah opens a way that did not previously exist. What's the pattern here? Movement. First movement, then clarity. First movement, then provision. First movement, then the opening. Perhaps certainty comes after the step, not before it. Muharram is not asking, what do you want? Muharram is asking, who must you become? What identity must you take on? And that brings me to why I created the Sacred Sales Muharram cohort. This isn't really about sales. Sales is simply where identity becomes visible, communication becomes visible, confidence becomes visible, avoidance becomes visible, authority becomes visible, money becomes visible. The women who thrive in today's economy are not necessarily smarter. They communicate differently. They negotiate differently. They make decisions differently. They hold conversations differently. And they have developed conversational authority. They have developed economic dignity. They have developed high income communication. Different standards, different conversations, different outcomes. If today's presentation exposed something uncomfortable, good. That means you're seeing something clearly, and clarity is a gift. If you recognize that your current identity is producing your current results, and if you're ready for a different set of conversations, I invite you to apply for the Sacred Sales Muharram cohort. And not everybody should, but some women know. They know the cost of staying the same woman has become too high. Muharram is not asking you what you want. Muharram is asking you who you must become.